Hi everyone, my name is Devik and I'm your Techy Tantrika. Hi everyone, I hope you're having an amazing week, and what an incredible last 4 weeks it's been for me on this channel. I have interviewed two amazing guests on this channel and I really hope you've had a chance to take a look at those interviews. One being Shofar Graves of For Show Energy and one being Sarah Austin Bailey of HowDoYouMakeLove.com. Please take a look at both those interviews if you haven't had a chance to already. There was some incredible takeaways from both that I just strongly recommend. There's a lot in there about energy healing and sacred sexuality and tantra, and just some really amazing aspects of both healers, their lives and their origin stories. So please take a look. Definitely not to be missed. They're just incredible, and I had so much fun doing both of them. They're just both lovely people. And this weekend kicked off and ended with a bam. Like, this was FanExpo Toronto 2016, the last time Stan Lee was ever going to be at a Comic-Con here in Toronto. And you know, like, I totally get that. Stan is 93 years old and has created amazement for generations of comic book lovers like myself. I actually grew up watching the X-Men series and have been like a fan of Storm since, well, it's been like a quarter of a century, 25 years. So needless to say, I had to go and meet Stan Lee. Of course, I got him to autograph something for me, a little something. That was my mission this weekend, and it was actually really just incredible and humbling getting to cosplay as Stan Lee. That was a costume that actually took couple months for me to put together, in the sense of just getting the pieces together and a few hours to put together. And I was a little bummed out, not gonna lie, because I did go to get my comic book signed. However, Stan didn't get to see that I was dressed like him. He was so busy, he was totally overbooked. Like, this is totally not his fault at all. Like, I mean, he's 93 years old. The fact that he has the energy to do a full weekend at any of these Comic-Cons is just amazing to me. I'm really hoping that one of his staff members showed him at least a picture of me. I know one of his staff members took a picture, so fingers crossed he got to see it. And I mean, getting to be Stan Lee in cosplay was a wonderfully humbling experience for me, and just a really great reminder to me as to, for example, why I became an actor. Reminded me of one of my most wonderfulest, if that's even a word, it's really not, the most incredible comic book role model for me, which was Storm, Aurora Monroe, and just kind of seeing the creator who fleshed out, the X-Men. It was just coming full circle. Like, he created a universe that inspired me to become an actor. I always wanted to do action movies and, sci-fi and fantasy roles, and I actually, during my acting career, got to do a lot of independent movies that were in those genres, and did a TV movie and that sort of thing. Seeing Stan Lee and seeing his last Q&A panel and stuff was just, it meant a lot to me. I'm kind of still hoping I could go to Rhode Island to see him again. But what got me thinking and creating this video was the very fact that I always thought of cosplay as this transformational, even healing process, and I feel like a lot of other people feel this way too. Like, when you dress up for Halloween, or even when you're in a play, like, what I loved about acting is getting into costume, and I think a lot of actors relate to that feeling. Like, you bring as much as you can through your training and your expertise and your feelings of the actor, of the character. But then when you put that costume on, your posture changes, your attitude changes, your world around you changes. And when you really think about it, human beings have been putting on masks and costumes for centuries, like probably as long as we could communicate, to relay stories. But even in healing aspects, like, there have been dances and creation myths and ceremonies and even performances around, healing for communities, and like exorcisms and healing the sick, and like death rites and birth rites, and any transitional process or transformational process you can think of as a human being. There has to have been, at some point in some culture, some sort of mask or costume, and performance usually as well, that went along with those rites. Even in sex, if you watched Spartacus, the series, you'll probably remember the episode that I'm talking about. But the reason I bring this up is because I really do feel like, of course, you're going to have people who get into costume just because they really want like myself, to pay homage to a character that really inspired them. But I welcome all of you who have ever worn a costume and have been really dedicated to a character to really look at the strengths of the character or whatever it is about them that really drew you in. Like, what is it about that character that you loved so much? And I welcome you to take those characteristics and find ways to bring them further into your life, because that can bring so much to who you are as a person. For me, I always believed in the saying, you are attracted to a quality about a person, it's because you possess that quality as well. And if you haven't fully realized those qualities in you, this is a great opportunity to learn that. And I bring this up too because on my last 2 days of Comic-Con, so that was like Saturday and Sunday, I thought to myself, well, I wanted to be, a Gryffindor, because, I'm a Gryffindor. 1,000,000 points to Gryffindor. And I thought to myself, well, I want to do that. But there was another part of me that really wanted to cosplay as Bellatrix. And I was like, well, why would I want to cosplay as her? She's complete opposite, or so I think. But I had a lot of time to think about this. And Harry, there was a good chance he was going to maybe be in Slytherin. And the thing about Slytherins is they're known for being cunning, right? They're known for actually having, that intelligence to them. And not all of them were bad. I mean, even Snape had that ability to use his light and dark. He seemed like a very in-tuned person with understanding how light and dark worked. And for me, I feel like Bellatrix, like many other mysterious female characters, like a lot of them end up getting depicted as villains. If Bellatrix wasn't so, let's say, violent or wanted to kill children or wanted to kill humans, create a genocide, what would Bellatrix's, backstory indicate to us about maybe her being able to bring her divine mysteriousness, mystery to people? And for me, Bellatrix represents this divine feminine aspect, like her crazy or her almost her insanity could have easily gone another way. She could have been mysterious and not necessarily like this bad crazy lady. If she was able to embrace that part of her and go towards a good aspect, she could have been a witch that was mysterious but also maybe did some good in her world. For whatever reason she decided to, she could have felt left out at certain points in her life. I'm sure if I looked into her backstory, we would probably find a lot of exclusion in her life and a lot of not feeling like she was in the right place at the right time and that sort of thing, and maybe very misunderstood. And for me, I feel like a lot of these divine characters are misunderstood. You can even start looking into pagan mythology and looking at goddesses like Hecate, who are looked at sometimes as dark and mysterious, and sometimes even in a bad light, especially when they start looking divine and mysterious and magical, witchy, if you will. Even Enchantress from Suicide Squad, they kind of were bringing her into this pagan goddess mythology with her new costume. This goes back to what I was saying, like they're depicted with this sort of insanity, and Enchantress is, like in both their cases, they wanted to take over the world. But I've wondered, why aren't we having good characters that have this divine mystery about them? Because it is a good element to embrace, but it almost seems threatening to some who don't understand it. I think that's even why Harley Quinn has become so popular too. Like, she's insane. I actually, to be honest, I don't really feel she's a good role model at all, but she's coming up there because I think part of the divine feminine, the part that people, I think, like about these other characters I mentioned, like Enchantress and Bellatrix, is that wild divine feminine aspect about them, this wild card feeling, and Harley clearly has that. The only difference with Harley, though, is she's got this broken aspect and sense of being controlled by the Joker, for example, and becoming who she is a lot because of the Joker, right? Whereas these other women, they might have some ties to other people, but we see them as a standalone character for a lot of the times, and they're in their own power and they have that wildness about them. This wild feminine, for me, has always been worth looking into because it goes with that mystery that's worth embracing, because life is a mystery. Life is definitely worth exploring and knowing that you'll never really know all that you need to know or that you think you need to know. So anyways, anybody who's, for example, ventured down a similar road as me where you look at a character and you're like, oh, well, maybe I want to be this villain because there's an aspect that I find interesting about them, it's worth looking into, it's worth diving into. My takeaway from this video is think of your favorite characters you'd like to play, or think of your favorite characters in general in any stories or comics or movie series or TV series that you follow, and really take a look at the beauty of the characteristics you love. For me, spirituality is an individual experience, so this is why I like to present these thoughts and these processes to people. So thank you so much everyone for taking a look at this video, and please feel free to subscribe to this channel because you never know what you'll find. Divine Mystery. I like to post things about sacred sexuality and intimacy, dating and relationships. Self-exploration is a huge part of what I do, so you'll find me talking about that in so many different facets. And I welcome you also to comment in the comment section below. Let me know who you like to cosplay as or which characters you love. Feel free to also ask me any questions as well in any of my videos. I'm always glad to field questions. I do like creating as much free content as I can. So thank you so much again everyone, and until next week, take care.